So I had weight loss surgery just over a month ago. Time is really flying by. It's the end of the year. It's crazy, but I want to talk about my experience so far and give you guys an update on how it's been. So in this video, I'm going to touch a little bit on my pre-op journey. I'll cover what it was like having the surgery, and then I'll give you an update now that I'm just over 1 month post-op. I'm Joel, and you're watching So first of all, the surgery I had is called the SADI-S. And if you've not heard of that surgery before, or if you'd like to learn more about it, I made a whole other video talking about like what that surgery is and why I chose it as my bariatric procedure. So I will link that in the description below and maybe somewhere up here. So let's talk about pre-op. So the whole process to get cleared for surgery took several months. And it's different for every person, different for every situation, and depending on who's your surgeon, it's going to vary. For me, I had multiple appointments with my surgeon before I was cleared. I had to have an endoscopy. I had several other visits, including with a psychiatric visit, just to make sure that you're in the right headspace and you're doing it for the right reasons. I also had multiple nutrition classes, so there was a lot that went into kind of getting ready for surgery. So once I was cleared for surgery, I had to do a 2-week full liquid diet, and that was not fun. It was tough, especially in the beginning, because you don't really have the benefit of the surgery. So you're still hungry, you're still craving food, but I just had to kind of grind through it. The first few days are the hardest part, and then it kind of got easier from there. I was mainly drinking protein shakes. I also had a little bit of like chicken broth and sugar-free Jello, that kind of thing. But mostly it was protein shakes for about 2 weeks before surgery. A little tip, when you're only drinking protein shakes, it is easy to get plugged up. So I highly recommend Colace. My doctor recommended that, and that was very helpful, to say the least. I ended up losing about 20 pounds before surgery in those 2 weeks. So it definitely kind of helped me get ready for surgery, got me in the mindset, and it was practice really for post-surgery and only being able to be on a liquid diet for another 2 weeks after surgery. So then my surgery happened on October 30th, 2024. I had my surgery at the hospital, so got there pretty early in the morning, kind of got prepped, took a few hours to get back into surgery. And then once under the anesthesia, that's kind of the easy part. So having the surgery is really the easiest because go to sleep and wake up and the surgery is over. So waking up, I was very out of it. I just felt very groggy, very sleepy that whole first day. I don't really remember a lot of it, but I do remember feeling kind of sore. And I think the toughest part right after surgery was the gas pains. They basically inflate your whole abdomen to kind of make sure they have enough room to do the surgery. And all that gas, they try to get as much out as they can, but it's just some of it gets trapped in there, and it's not it just takes a while to come out. Everyone has different experiences with, how bad or how not bad it can be. I had a pretty tough time with gas pains. They were very uncomfortable. That was by far the hardest and most painful part of it for me. And they lasted probably the first 3 days. The tough part is pain medicine doesn't really help. So you really have to get up and walk. That's the only way that the gas kind of works itself out. So they had me walking the very first day, and I tried to stick with the walking and just try to move as much as I could to just get those gas pains to go away. Like I said, my surgery was at the hospital, and I ended up staying overnight, which is normal. Sometimes they have you stay 2 nights, but I was able to stay just 1 night, and then I went home the following day. So the first 2 weeks of surgery, once I got back home, I started a full liquid diet. So the diet progression, just so you're aware, basically I had 2 weeks full liquid diet. That was pre-op. Then I had my surgery, and just for the first 2 days, I was only on clear liquids. So just very simple water, broth, trying to stay hydrated. Day 3, I could start 2 weeks of full liquid diet again. Then 2 weeks after that, I'm allowed to go to a pureed diet. So they say like if you can spread it on toast, like that kind of consistency. After those 2 weeks, I could move on to a soft diet. And then 2 weeks after that, I moved to what they call the regular diet or a more normal diet. So the first 2 weeks, a lot is happening. Day 3, I was able to start the liquid diet. I was shocked how little I could eat. I basically had one protein shake and it took me the whole day to get through it. I was not really prepared how tough it was going to be those first few days. I went into surgery thinking this is going to, thinking about all the positives, like this is going to be amazing. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to thinking about all the future stuff. And those first few days really kind of kicked my butt because it was just really tough, and it's a lot of changes all at once. So it was challenging to say the least. The 4th day was the first day that I kind of felt like I was improving. Like the gas pains were just really tough for the first 3 days, and then day 4 started feeling better. You also, this is TMI, but you also don't have a bowel movement for many days after surgery. So it took me about 5 days post-surgery to kind of get that moving. And once that happened, that was also a huge relief and like something that made me feel much better. I have a work from home job, so I actually started back 5 days after surgery, which looking back, I think it was too early. Thankfully, I have a work from home job that I could get through it, but I would recommend at least a week, if not more. It really took about the first 2 weeks for me to really feel like myself. Like I said, the first 2 weeks are full liquid, so lots of protein shakes. I highly recommend the Fairlife. Those were delicious. Really doesn't feel like you're on a diet. I was surprised in the first 2 weeks that I still felt hungry. It wasn't a lot, and I would definitely feel full for a long time if I had eaten or drank anything. But I was surprised that I've heard people say that, you just don't feel hungry anymore. And that wasn't the case for me. I still felt hungry, and I really was, there was different times where I would really crave more texture because, at the end of those, 2 weeks post-op, I was basically going on a month without really eating any solid food. And I was really craving more solid foods. So after the 2 weeks, I was cleared with my doctor to begin the pureed diet. And the first thing I had was scrambled eggs, which were amazing. It was a huge deal to be able to chew food and to have something more substantial. And I'll post a list of some of the things that I could have on the pureed diet, but it was basically like eggs, tuna, some diced chicken, maybe lean ground beef. I did a little bit of sweet potatoes, baked potatoes, but I really tried to focus on protein. One other thing I started at 2 weeks post-op was vitamins. If you are considering the SADI surgery or the duodenal switch, or really any bariatric surgery, but especially those two, vitamins will be your new best friend because vitamins for life, a lot of vitamins are really important. And so I basically started a full regimen of vitamins. I can post some pictures or some video of some of my vitamins. Basically, I have to take them about 5 times a day, which sounds crazy. And at first it definitely was, but I have this little organizer that helped me stay focused. I set some timers on my phone to remind me when I need to take them. And it really hasn't been that big of a deal. I've actually been pretty surprised how I was able to just kind of start those vitamins, and it hasn't really been too bad. They're mostly chewable right now, but as I progress, I'll be able to switch to capsules, and I think that'll make things a little easier as well. So that brought me to the end of my first month post-op. I'm sure I'm leaving out a lot of things, but it basically just flew by. It was shocking how fast everything went. I'm sure some of you are curious about the numbers, so I will give you my numbers now. So I was 426 when I started my pre-op liquid diet. I lost 20 pounds in those 2 weeks, and I was 406 on the day of surgery. My first month post-op, I ended up weighing 372, so I'm down 34 pounds post-op, and total in the last 6 weeks is 54 pounds. So I'm pretty happy with that. I know that it's a long journey. I have a long way to go, but in the first 6 weeks to be down over 50 pounds, I will definitely take that. Some general tips I will say, if you're considering surgery, I definitely recommend, do as much research as you can, feel as comfortable as you can, but ultimately just go for it. Don't delay. I took about 18 months from when I first started researching this surgery to when I actually had the surgery, and it definitely didn't need to take that long. I should have gone for it earlier, and I definitely recommend just start, because I'm really glad that I did this. Obviously, there's still a long way to go, but it's something that I think is really gonna be a huge step for me in my health journey and in my life. Another thing I'll say is that I didn't really spend enough time thinking through how hard it could be, especially early post-op. So definitely mentally prepare yourself if you're going to have surgery. It's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. It will be painful. There will be frustrations. Even things like just taking a gulp of water after surgery could be painful. So that is really a mental and a physical challenge. But starting with why you're doing this, what the end goals are, I think was really important to get you through those hard times so that you can experience the benefits of the surgery and why you're doing it in the first place. I also recommend, just really focusing on protein. I've really been trying to do that. Anytime you're losing weight really fast and you have a huge calorie deficit, your body is going to not really care whether it's taking muscle or fat. It's just going to start taking energy from wherever it can find it in your body. So the more protein you can eat, the more you're going to tell your body to hold on to muscle and just focus on, losing fat. As far as exercise, I have plans to start a strength training routine at least 3 days a week. I'll have more updates in the future about my strength training and what will go into that. But in general, it's going to be just trying to hold on to as much muscle as I can as I'm losing weight. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments. I'd love to hear and answer them either in the comments or in a future video. Also, if you'd like to follow my journey, I'll definitely be posting more in the future, so feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.